In a previous How To Tuesday, I referenced the technique of the 3 Ps, which is pause, prep, and pivot. The same thing that you would do in a session with a parent and child where you needed to interrupt the parent and refocus them, you can do in a session with a parent and you when you're having a parent meeting when only the parent is present. So a lot of times my experience is the parents are feeling stressed and overwhelmed in the parent session, and they're sort of railroading you with tons of information and distress and complaints, and they're not hearing your words as the therapist when you're trying to influence them to do things differently. And so the 3 Ps can be useful again to say something like, hey, can I slow you down? Can we slow down for a moment? Can we back up for a second? So this is your punctuation of let's pause. And that's you might have to do that with a little bit more affect and say, hey, can we time out for a second? Can we press the pause button? And you might have to get so that your vitality affect and your gestures are bigger to get, especially if somebody is really on a rant. And then we have to get some preparation so that they can change their mind. They can change their state of mind and say, can I give you a heads up? Or is it okay? I'm going to tell you something that's a little difficult to hear. Are you ready for that? And that you're giving them a few moments of time to kind of change their set point and maybe just take that deep breath and say, okay. Or maybe they'll tell you no, in which case you wouldn't do it and you would change the session. You would get them a glass of water and help them to calm down or to soothe themselves in whatever way is most comfortable for them. Most of the times people will say, okay. And then you tell them that you need to pivot, which is whatever the subject at hand. Your frequent anger at your child might be getting in the way of your improving the relationship, which is what we're trying to get at here. Okay, so you tell them straight. This is what we're focusing on now. So you can use the 3 Ps in your sessions with parents when you're really trying to get them to regulate and to focus on the therapeutic work that's at hand.